South African capital markets for 2019 does not look great. We've come through 3 hard years where the JSE's delivered returns which is close to 0%. Last year was probably the worst year since the global financial crisis. The outlook for 2019, we think that emerging markets are well positioned given the sell-off last year. Having said that, South Africa faces a number of headwinds, and the most serious headwind at the moment is our electricity crisis, the debt at Eskom, the load shedding, the impact that it's going to have on potential GDP growth, which we think is going to be revised downwards even further. We've got the elections coming up. Having said that, we've got buckets of opportunity that do exist on the JSE. We've had results come through this year, and a lot of the results have not been that great, particularly amongst those companies that are very focused on the South African economy. Some of the financial sector companies and a lot of the retailers have been down on the back of poor consumer activity. But there are pockets of opportunity where we're seeing earnings growth come in at around an average of 8% per annum, strong dividend yields. Some of the entities with offshore earnings capability are driving a lot of the strong performance of the JSE. The debt markets, as long as the US Federal Reserve and Jeremy Powell came through this week and have said that the US won't be hiking interest rates this year. We expected the US to aggressively hike interest rates at least 3 times this year, and with them saying that they're not going to do that this year bodes very positive for emerging market debt. So hopefully, we'll continue to see strong inflows into our bond markets. Having said that, on a net basis this year, foreigners have been net sellers of South African equities and South African government debt, and that continues to remain a concern. I think the biggest, to round it off, the biggest headwinds to the South African capital markets in 2019 is going to be the electricity crisis, 1, and 2, a smooth election, and also a smooth election victory for Cyril Ramaphosa, so he can carry on with his mandate of cleaning up South Africa, particularly the economy, some of the state-owned enterprises, and get the economy back on a solid footing. Let's talk about diversity and inclusivity, particularly for new entrants, young graduates that are coming out of universities and are entering the financial services sector, be it our banking sector, our insurance sector, asset management sector, stockbroking sector. The South African financial services sector contributes majority relative to other sectors to South Africa's GDP. It's a big employer of people in the economy, and therefore opportunities do exist. Even though the economy is quite tough, there are opportunities for young graduates in the sector, particularly because opportunities do exist as a result of the YES program, as a result of skills development, as a result of normalization in terms of ensuring that we have sufficient diversity and inclusivity in our workforce. So when new entrants enter the sector, what we do struggle with in the South African corporate sector, particularly, we're very poor at dealing with diversity issues. And diversity is not just about race. Diversity is not just about black, colored, Indian, and African. Diversity is more than that. Diversity is about men. Diversity is about women. Diversity is about being gay. Diversity is about your religious background, your ethnic background, and often people struggle with this in the workplace. And I think increasingly what we are finding, because of these challenges that exist, is that organizations are beginning to identify this as a struggle, and in order to build collective workforces that can position itself for changing domestic and global economy, and to strengthen organizations, increasingly companies are taking into consideration how do they deal with inclusivity and diversity in the workforce. And I think as young people entering the sector, they need to be aware that these challenges do exist and have got to be part of the solution in engaging with their line managers, in engaging with HR, and being part of the conversation, whether it's through industry bodies or whether it's through their own positionings in those workplaces, to be able to find solutions to ensure that we deal with a better South African workforce. Really makes Fatima tick. I like hard work. I like new ideas. I like seeing ideas come to completion and fruition. And when I see ideas that have been born out of nowhere reaching the end game, that really is what motivates me and drives me. And I hope to install that type of philosophy and thinking to the young people within our organization, but as well as to other young people out there. Whatever you start, you must end. Don't leave unfinished business. And once you succeed in ending something that you started off with, it will really get you onto the cycle of positivity, growth and development. Learn as much. I get excited about learning new things every day, and I feel exactly the same way as I did when I joined the industry 25 years ago. Everything new, you want to learn about it, you want to think about it, you want to conceptualize, you want to understand how it fits in, and that's really what makes me tick.